Hello. It's me. How are we doing, everybody? My name is Elliot, aka L, a former racer of P0, finished third place last season, and I'm going to be your commentator today. Commentator for today and for the rest of the season. I hope we're all doing very, very well. We are just sitting in the lobby as we try and get everybody in for the first race of the second P0 season in F1 2024. I think this is season 7 overall, off the top of my head. I couldn't tell you without looking at the spreadsheet. But we are back. We had a break over Christmas. And we are in the first race of the season at Portugal, a track I don't think we have raced for quite a few seasons now. When we participate in the leagues, we try to do the first season in line with the calendar, the real life calendar, and then the second season is where we experiment a little bit. And in previous years, I don't believe Portugal has been on the quote experimental calendar, for lack of a better word. So we're here. It's a bumpy track. I think there's 14 corners off the top of my head. Very undulating, to use a bit of a prick term there, but yes, it's a lot of up and down, a lot of off-camera corners, a lot of blind corners, but it'll be good fun. It's a fun track to race. This is a game that has had its problems with its grip, why a lot of people run full TC nowadays, but ought to be pretty fun nevertheless. We're just getting everybody in that we need to before we start. It's also a sprint weekend. It is a sprint weekend, so I will go over the rules very quickly for you. We have a short qualifying session before the sprint. What this means is there is one session for qualifying. For the sprint qualifying, I believe it is 12 minutes off the top of my head. And that will set the grid. We've got an 11-lap sprint race. We then have an 18-minute flat qualifying session, and then the full race, which will be 33 laps. So last year we did qualifying knockout, so Q1, Q2, Q3, like you see in real life. That isn't going to be the case today. I don't think it's going to be the case for the rest of the season, except for in select circumstances. That's a tongue twister. So yes, there's one qualifying session that will set the grid, which obviously makes rain even more important. The last time I commentated a P0 race was Spa, back when I injured my hip. And in that, we had rain right at the beginning of Q2. So basically, the order that people went out straight away from Q2 basically determined their grip level. And we had a lot of upsets. So I'm hoping to see something very similar here. That would be a lot of fun. I think we have... I think we've got 17 with us today. Let me have a look here. Some people have said they aren't able to come. 16 or 17. I'm not sure off the top of my head because we've got some people. Let's have a look. So that's 7:55. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here a second. I think we've got 16 or 7. Do you know what? I don't know. We've got a number anywhere from 15 to 17. One person said they might be a little bit late. One person says that they might not be coming now. It's a whole thing. That's fine. For those of you who are listening in, who are chilling with me in the background, appreciate you listening to my expert waffling. I will be trying my best. This is very much going to be a thing, as we go forward throughout the season, trying to balance, which cameras to use, catching the action and everything. Because I may be an expert waffler, maybe an expert yapper, but not that much experience in commentary. But I was happy with Spa. Thought Spa went okay. So we're going to try and match that energy here. I have tried to set the audio so that the car sounds are a little bit louder. I know some people like hearing the engines, even though I think they're broken. If I'm honest, the Kick and the Ferrari both sound a bit, I don't know, sound a bit weird. They almost sound a bit tinny to me. I don't know. Have I been on the drink tonight? I haven't, except for right now. I'd show you if my webcam was plugged in. I've got an Angelo Peretti Italian beer that will see me through. See if I can get the... Hang on, can I get the... Oh, yeah, there we go. That's going to be quenching my thirst as I yap for the next 2 hours. Looks like we're getting to people joining and dropping, so we might squeeze it a little past 8, but that's fine. So Mixed up at the grids. We had Mercedes win the constructors last year. That is K-Pax and Lucullus. K-Pax is not committing to every race this season. Fair enough. That is that right? So we've mixed up the teams a little bit. Lucullus and Chiv will now be running the McLaren. Let's have a look. You can see Baz and Devaro running the Williams. Bosch and Tobias, also known as Craig Brook, will be running the Kick whenever he gets in. Rob Wills and Mika Landau both running the Aston Martin. The Ferrari is usually Fatboy Sim, who you may know as Theon, and Chubby Slug, who some people may know as Matoman. Neither of them were able to attend today, so we've got K-Pax, the reserve, in the Ferrari, and I think Mr. Seedy will be in the Ferrari, another reserve, if he's able to join us. We've got another couple of debutantes here. We've got Kev and Tesco. I'm just going to call him Tesco. Both running the Mercedes. There's some brand new drivers with us. We've got Gio in the Haas, who is with, I think, Vibora, off the top of my head, is the other Haas driver. Also two debutantes. And we've also got Dale running in the Red Bull with... I actually can't remember who's in the Red Bull off the top of my head. And then we've got Pace and Skarma in the V-Carb. Very exciting. We've got 14. Yeah, we're just waiting for people to get in. Or for Luke to give us the thumbs up to go. I think Chubby was supposed to be joining us, but he might be a little bit late. Tobias and Vibora we're just waiting on. Chubby might be a little bit late. CD is back in now. I might be having some connection problems. We will see. Oh, I've got a bit of beer already. I'm just trying to help here. I'm on my phone. So bear with me. Let's have a look. We've got... So, I think it's supposed to be 17. We've got... So, check here. Bosch is here. Skarma is here. Rob is here. Baz is here. Lucullus is here. Mark is here. That's Devaro. Kev is here. Pace is here. Let's have a look. Chiv is here. K-Pax, Michelando. Tesco is here. Tobias is here on the other kick. CD is having connection problems. Vibora might not be attending. I don't think they've replied yet. Dale in the Red Bull. Gio in the Haas. Perfect. Right, we'll see. We're just going to try and get CD in here. And if they have connection problems again, I'd imagine we might be going. But yes, this is going to be exciting. We've got a fun calendar coming up for this season, which ought to be some good fun. Let me just pull it up so I'm not talking completely out of my ass. I'm going to try with the corner numbers today. When in Spa, obviously the corners have very famous names. You've got Rivage, you've got Purcells, you've got Piff Paff and everything, and that's like, yeah, oh, you know, he's going through that, yada yada yada. It's not the case here with Portugal. It's just turn 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Not that I know the corner nubs off the top of my head. If I'd done my homework, I would have, but I didn't. Where am I on the calendar so I can stop? Yes, we've got, that's Portugal, and then we've got Hungary next week. Those are and Zandvoort the week after. 3 very tricky, twisty circuits. We like those. And a sprint race in Zandvoort, which is frankly cruel. But, you know, we do have Herr Chiv as our calendar creator, and he does love to put some absolute fucking corkers in. Right, Mr. Seedy's in with the rare 1 bar ping. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't DQ. You know what the fucking things are like in this game, the connections. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is not a Christian stream. There will be swearing. I am not crofty. I have no issue dropping the F-bomb. So if you don't like that, you can, you can... it's too easy to say. You can fuck off, isn't it? Anyways, I'm stalling for time because we've been trying to get people in. We're 4 minutes late. But just waiting for us to load in now. I'm excited to see how our debutantes do. So, double check our debutantes. Yes, we've got Kev, we've got Tesco, we've got Gio, and we've got CD Perfect. We've got some 4 brand new drivers. I hope they all do very... I hope they enjoy, I should say. They do very well. Hello, Theon. How are you doing? Welcome in. Shame you couldn't be here. I have every faith that Mr. CD and K-Pax will score solid points in the Ferrari in your stead. So we shall see. We've got a couple of unknown quantities here. I was speaking a little bit about the betting odds for the, if you will, for the championship this year. Theon, obviously reigning champion, isn't able to race as frequently this year, which is fair enough. Man's got his commitments. It's going to be between Luke Robb and Tobias, if I'm honest. Well, is it Tobias, Craig? Yeah, same person. I'll try and use Craig when we're here. Those are probably the 3 favourites. I think Leon will be there. It depends on how often Leon can attend, but obviously 1 missed race is, you know, worth quite a lot. Pace has got some pretty good pace, ironically. Haha, very funny. But is yet to win a race this season, which is an absolute killer. Right, we're in. I can stop waffling. Right. We are in SQ1. This is it. This is 12 minutes to set the grid for the sprint race in our very first race of the season here for Season 7 of P0. How many times can I say the word season? And I tell you what, the cloud's looking a bit dark, isn't it? It's not all sunshine. Tesco and Kev are going to win. Not sure about Kev, but Tesco will carry. Welcome in, Liam. Hopefully we will see a debutant winner. I can't remember the last time we've had I don't think we've ever had anyone win on their debut, unless you count the very first race of P0's existence back in fucking F1 2019 or whatever. Reports for rain in the sprint. Ooh, very exciting. Well, we've got our first driver here, so let me get who's just gone out. Is that a Merc? It is. Is that Kev or Tesco? Tesco's gone out straight away. We shall watch him on the outlap. He's the first to test the conditions. It looks just a little bit built on matte in Kota. Interesting. Okay. All right. Fair enough. One of our rare first, one of the only drivers to only ever win 1 race with us here. Joins the, I couldn't even fucking name all the people who've only ever won 1 race. Pedro comes to mind. His crazy win in Austria. But yes, Gio is out at the moment. Skarma has also come out, but we're just going to keep on board with Tesco. He will have the honour of having his the first commentated lap of the season. But yes, the duo, Scottish duo in the Mercedes, probably work very well. I'm led to believe they know each other in real life, which obviously helps when it comes to strategizing for tows and anything in between. Chris has joined. Chris Allen's joined us. As we get a couple of people going out on their outlaps at the moment. Everybody just lining up. I don't know if it's going to rain. The dad and son, well, there we are. We're going to go on board here with Tesco. As we go on the TV pod, listen to the Mercedes engine go. He is flat out, 7th gear, left-hand side of the track. He's going to start his flying lap. DRS on, battery on, and you just wait on the left-hand side of the track until the 50-meter board. It's a very quick right-hander here. Does very well, almost doesn't lift. Doesn't hit the curb, hits the apexes very well. Taxi, now you want to get to the center of the track here for turn 5. It's very slippery up here, especially on a green track. Doesn't invalidate. 2nd DRS zone. Pick your braking point. 100 meters down for the hairpin. Is he going to touch the curb? Turns it very nicely. Very, very well done there. Straighten up the car. Get on the throttle. It's flat here through turn 5. Turn 6 here. You want to turn in, get the car straight, and then brake as soon as you can. It's off camber on exit. Very easy to lose the car here. But he does very well. Collects it. He's going to go flat all the way here. Next, it's uphill. You're going to want to turn in, find your braking zone. It's blind on the apex on the right-hand side. You don't see it until you're turning. Keeps to the left-hand side very well. Pick your braking point at the white line on the right there. Keep to the center of the track. Get the car situated over on the left here. Drop down. He's going to take 2nd here. Wait for your acceleration there. Wash out wide. Take as much curb as you dare. He's very, leaves a lot on the table there. Don't scrub the speed as you come through the right-hander. And wait for the line, DRS on. It's a 17.6 for Tesco. We're going to go on board. I think it's Skarma is next across the line here. Let's see how he's doing. He's not invalidated. He's still going. There's a yellow flag briefly in the DRS zone there. Let's see where Scott Gio crosses the line there with an 18.8 from the Haas driver on his debut. Scarman out, keeps to the right-hand side. He's going to cross the line now, and it's a 17.6. Rob now is, I think, starting. Yeah, Rob is just about to start his lap, or he's just come out of the pits. As I try and keep up on it. Ferrari has crossed the line there. There we are. I got stuck there for a minute. Let's see where we are. That's Mr. Seedy going on his lap at the moment. Let's have a keep on board with him. Oh, he tries to collect the car there, fights it. Skarma beats Tesco to provisional pole there by 4 1,000s. I think he's on an... it might have abandoned, actually. I'm just trying to keep up now. Baz sets an 18.5 there. Chiv with an 18.3. Couple of drivers touching into the 16s. Let's see if that's Craig to cross the line here. He goes 18.1. Devaro with a 78. Very good time there from the other Williams driver. Dale crosses and sets an 18.8. That's another Ferrari to cross the line there. Mr. Seedy with a 31.1. I'm sure he's setting up for another flying lap. The other Mercedes there looks like they might be starting again. There's a yellow flag down there. I think both McLarens getting out of the way of each other. That is Lucalis on a flying lap here. Missed out on the championship by the very last race. He was our previous winner of the season before last. He is fighting the car all the way through Sector 2. There's another yellow flag, I think, as that's one driver gets out of the way. Hard on the brakes, doesn't use all the curb on the left-hand side. As the sun is starting to come out now, the track's going to start warming up as people look to potentially get another flying lap in. So that K-Pax goes with an 18.2. He goes P5. We're just going to stay on board with Luke here as he goes for the final corner. Just waited a minute, just delayed getting on throttle. He's going to keep it all the way in the middle of the track. Try and turn in as little as possible. Lucalis to cross the line with a P3. It's a 17.7. And Skarma's 16.6 with Tesco's there. Looks to be pretty tidy indeed. We've got a kick going into the pits there. As we just see who else has crossed the line there. Aston Martin of Rob crosses the line. It's a 17.0 from Rob. Puts 6/10 on Skarma and P2. That is a scorching lap from Rob there. Pace, I think, is going to cross the line there. He sets an 18.5 in the other V-carb. Let's have a look at Bosch here and see if he is on a lap. I think he might be warming up for one. Yeah, he's warming up for one now. Sitting behind the McLaren, Michelando and the other Aston Martin is also on an outlap behind Bosch. So we're going to go on board with Bosch here for just a moment. Everybody seems to be settling into get into the pits now. I don't think there's anyone else on a flying lap. No, Michelando's just started. I've got the Aston Martins mixed up. We'll go on board with Michelando as he goes through T1, T2. Pick your braker for T3. Uses the curb on the left-hand side. Center track, don't lose the car on exit here. Don't invalidate on the left-hand side. DRS open. That was soft tyres there from Rob, as cars are using the medium tyres. It's a purple Sector 1 from Michelando, if the minimap is to be believed. So turn it again, get the car situated. Got tyres screaming as he just forces the car through. Does well to get on power early as you crest the hill. In Sector 2, love that bit of the track here. Again, turn-in is almost blind here. You're just waiting for the apex to come. Keeps it out of the curb on the left. Pick your braking point. Oh, he does get it bit in. He very slightly misses the apex. Gets it over to the left. He's going to drop it. He's going to keep it in third. Wait for it. Wait for it. Throttle on now. Use as much curb as you do on the exit. Keeps it very safe. See where Michelando puts it on the medium tyre as he will just let it run to the line. It's P7 and 18.1 on the medium tyre. Very well done from Michelando. Let's see where Bosch is going now as he enters Sector 3 now. Last driver to set a time. Oh, does very well not to hit the curb there. Keeps it very well tucked in into the center of the track so we can turn in, ready for this corner, get on throttle basically as soon as you dare. Again, drivers leaving a lot of curb out there on the left-hand side. There's a bit of time out there. Let's see where the Kick Sauber driver puts it. It's P10. It's an 18.8. As we look now, Skarma and Kev are on outlaps at the moment. Oh, it's a assault of the curb by Bosch there. Lucky to keep the car pointing in one direction. Skarma is the one I want to keep an eye on. So Rob, Tesco, and Luke, all drivers around here, staying in the pits. Devaro is out at the moment. I tell you what, one issue I've got with this fucking game is that there's like 4 teams that are blue, and it's really annoying. Anyways, let's watch Skarma. Can he pull 6/10 on Rob to put it anywhere on provisional pole? Uses half of his battery now. Drops a gear. He misses the apex on turn 1, but he does keep it within the white lines. They will have lost a bit of time there. Keeps it tucked in very sensibly. Leave it in the center of the track. Get on throttle there. Oh, the TC kicking in very slightly. Purple sector 1, if the thing is to be believed. 100-meter board break. He misses it slightly on the hairpin. He needs to get on throttle early here. Flat all the way through. He's got 2 cars either on their out laps, their in laps ahead by the looks of how slowly they were going. Oh, he does nibble the curb as well. He is absolutely throwing this car around Skarma. I think that is Kev that jumped up there with an 18.3. That's 5 1,000s ahead of Dale as the Williams ever so slightly blocking, but Skarma gets through. It's flat out now. One more hard braking point here. Just very well to get that in. And now you just got to brake, and you just got to wait for it. Now, put the throttle on now. He's going to get a slight tow from this Ferrari ahead as well. Is Skarma going to do enough to take provisional pole? He's going to keep it straight. He does! It's a 16.8 from Skarma. The track temp coming into play potentially as the sun has come out over the last 10 minutes. Another assault at the curb. Luke is out. Rob is out. Tesco is still in the pits. I don't think he's going to have a chance to go again. Neither is Bosch. So this is it. Let's have a look where Lucalis is now. Is he on a flying lap? He is. Lucalis has just started. So we're going to go on board with the McLaren driver here. Holder of the Constructors title. That was the definitely time at T1. We've got a Williams going slowly. Stays well out of the way. Very tidy there from Luke. Drivers being very polite. Let's see where he can go from here. Takes the curb. Oh, he nearly loses it. Surely would have lost him a smidge of time there. He's lucky not to send the car to fucking space there. Where's his bite? Oh, he turns in very early. That's very, very, very pointy front end there. And so like Chiv goes P3. He matches Rob's time exactly to the 1,000th. That's remarkable from Chiv. Now Rob finishes ahead of him by virtue of setting it first. We'll see if Rob improves on his time. He is on an outlap right now. Let's see if Luke has enough to answer Skarma's provisional pole. He's going to wait for it. It's the long wait for the line. It's P2 by 2 1,000ths of a second. Luke finishes behind Skarma. Let's have a look. Rob has invalidated. Chiv has already set his time. Tesco takes the flag. K-Pax has already set his time, I believe. Baz puts it a healthy P7 there with a 17.8. I think he actually might be on a lap as well. I'm not sure. Devaro takes the flag in P9. Bosch in P11. I think Michelando might be going as well. We've got a kick crossing the line here of Craig, who puts it 17.0. Puts it P3. Rob will finish start P4 at best. Pace puts it P6 with a 17.2. Good improvement from the Racing Bull driver there. I'm just going to stay on board with Baz here as they round the final corner. I think he's got Michelando behind him as well. Kev pits. Dale takes the flag. Gio's going to cross the line now. Improves to P7. It's a 17.5. And Baz decides to pit in. Michelando will take the line. The last driver, I believe... No, that was Rob taking the line. Excuse me. Michelando will now take the line and improves to P8. That is it. I think Luke is just pitting in now. Yep, that's it. There's your grid. Skarma on pole position for the first sprint race of the season. Luke behind by just 2 1,000ths of a second. Craig putting it P3. Rob and Shiv setting exactly the same time. Rob setting it first means he starts at P4. Pace in P6. Gio, our debutant, starts in P7. Michelando in P8. Tesco, another debutant, in P9. Put a good lap at the start, but didn't go out again, saving his tyres. K-Pax in the Ferrari in P10. Baz and Davaro, the Williams pair, in 11th and 12th. Bosch in 13th. Kevin 14th. Dale in 15th. And Mr. Seedy in 16th. And breathe. Oof. That was a lot of action there. I tell you what, it's good fun commentating when you've got 16 drivers, potentially with a 17th coming in as well. If Chubby's joining us, I think he said he might be late or he might not be able to attend. But it's a hell of a job keeping up with everyone. Hopefully we'll be a bit better in the race when people sort of get into their grooves a little bit. Bosch there, the only driver to set it on the medium tyre. Maybe he's got the goated strat on the soft tyre for the sprint. We shall see. Everybody's setting it on the softs there for the first time. But there is your starting grid for the sprint. A little birdie tells me there might be a little sprinkling of rain as well. And that ought to be good for a track that almost all of these drivers will not have driven in the league. Just to keep things a little bit interesting, isn't it? Right, we're just waiting. I need to... Whoops. Let me just do that. There we go. I needed to add that permitted term there. Didn't get to complete a lap on the softs. Fair enough, Bosch. Wow. You've got the luxury of the sprint to experiment and see what happens. I'm just going to quickly... I've lost my fucking... dashboard on my phone. It's hard work, this. Language is atrocious. No, it's okay. This is not a Christian stream. You can swear here. It's okay. I've done it 3 times. I wouldn't be the brash American that I was. Right. Formation lap. The clouds are looking just a little bit overcast, aren't they? Everybody is starting on the soft tire? Question mark? Oh, that's not right. There we go. Let's have a look. Right, so we've got softs from 1st down to 8th. Tesco has put on the medium tyres. K-Pax on the softs then behind him. Excuse me, both Williams drivers on the mediums. And then Bosch and Dale in 13th, 15th on the softs. Kev and Mr. Seedy on the medium tyres. As it says on the screen there, it is a 0 stop. It's a sprint. It's 11 laps. So, the soft tyre runners will run away as quick as they can, and the medium tyre runners will hunt them down. Looks to be the case, but everybody in the front runners seems to think the softs will last. If it does rain, it depends when the rain comes, really. That depends whether or not there is going to be a point in pitting. If the rain comes at the very end, you'll lose too much time. That's what the drivers have to decide, of course. We just wait. There's the field is spreading out nicely as people look to warm their tyres up as much as they can. We drop back here. There's a lovely gap there to the Williams there, which is fine. Maybe potentially having some issues. We shall see. But we're going to go back to Skama, who will start us off as he just lines up for his grid slot. I'm curious to see if he tries to point his car defensively against Luke. As we see the swarm of P0 drivers, your most mid drivers at F1 League racing history, lining up. And Skama lines up perfectly straight. He is not prepared to try and defend against Luke. Luke also not really pointing too much. Tesco gets disqualified. As does Kev. It can be a bit tricky lining up here. I'm going to turn off all of the spectator views here It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are go in Portugal. Skarma gets a good start. That looks like an Aston Martin of Rob pulling out to behind of Luke. Luke gets a terrible start. They look. Tobias jumps into P2. Skarma runs away with it straight away. Craig jumps up. Rob jumps up. Luke is falling down to P7 there. As we look, there was a brief yellow flag there. We're just trying to catch up. There looks like some people had some disconnects as well. If we try and catch up with our position changes here. Yeah, look, Luke drops down 5 positions. K-Pax jumps up from P10 up to P4. We're going to go into the middle of the pack here. Oh, if the game will let me, excuse me. And Bosch there sitting behind Gio. There's a wide moment there from Bosch. As he sits behind, you see the cars streaking up the field there. Everybody has been neat and tidy so far. As we watch the Kick Sauber driver here, it looks like he might be trying to square up a move here. He is biting at the rear of that Haas driver, who's just slightly falling away from our previous season runner-up Lucalis, who had an issue there at the start. Oh, he's gone wide. Bosch tucks it on the inside, even takes a little bit of grass for good measure. They're going to go side by side through the last corner here. This is mighty impressive through these two here. It's going to be a battle of the battery. I'm going to go back on board. Gio's burning. Bosch is burning. Bosch, is he going to send it up the inside? I think he's going to use more battery. And he takes it into T1 with a bit of curb. Oh, where's he going? That's a direct 3-second warning. A unique line from Bosch there. As we go back on board. Wow, my fucking controller's playing funny buggers. Bear with me. There we go. As we go back on board with Skarma, Craig is right on the back of him there. Rob's sitting behind him as well. Let's go back to the, where is it? The gap there, the interval between drivers. As DRS comes into play now, Bosch's moment has separated the pack significantly there. 1st to 7th, as you can see in the minimap in your bottom right there, are miles away from everybody else. Bosch will lead the train for everyone else. Tesco looks like he fell down a couple of positions as well. Kev also a couple of seconds behind there. I think he potentially had a moment. We're going to follow Craig. Brooke now. DRS will be enabled. Skarma just taking a little bit of curb there. Will Tobias get the better run here? We wait. We've got Rob on board as well. Tobias, I think, is going to have a go here. He's got his DRS on. He's not using his battery. He's sitting behind. If we go back here for K-Pax making a move here on the Racing Bull driver of Pass. Forgive me, I forget the name. Lucalis there as well. I think just sitting in behind, taking his time. We're going to see if Pace can have a switch back on K-Pax here on the second DRS zone. You can see the red light flashing means that K-Pax has used a lot of his battery. He's at least recharging it. Pace gets the DRS. Is he going to send it on the inside? He's not. He's going to leave it there. We can see behind Gio. Looks like he made a move on Bosch there. As we sit by, Tesco sits behind them. Michelando is going side by side with Tesco. They're actually right through the middle sector there. Oh, he backs out. Lets the Mercedes driver go. Dale then has both Williams nibbling at him behind. Pace then re-overtakes K-Pax in the middle sector there. That's a mighty move from Pace there to make it work. Lucalis. Oh, Luke's off! Luke's had a moment! Oh, I've switched to him there. He was in the grass. Pace has gone wide as well. What's going on with these three? Was there contact? We shall have to see. Luke appears to have his wing intact, by the looks of it anyway, as does Pace, as we sit on board here, as we see the helicopter cam. As we go through, we might see Bosch make a move here on Gio. We've got a line of cars going through here. Bosch turns his DRS on, turns his battery on, passes the Haas driver with absolute ease as he goes into the next corner and hopefully doesn't take a unique line through the side. The Tesco goes a little bit wide. He's going to go around the outside of the Haas driver. He does indeed. Does he make it stick going uphill? He does. Very good move from the Mercedes driver there. Bosch is able to pull away in the second DRS zone though. But Tesco showed pace in qualifying. Will he have a go later on? Up at the field, Chiv sits behind Rob, just 3/10 behind. Tobias also sitting behind. Skarma has a big moment. Is we seem to potentially see the track starting to get cold. Tobias makes the move for the lead. He's still side by side, gives him space, and Skarma lets him go. Tobias, we've had a swap for the lead on lap 4 as we head on back there. It looks like pace is just starting to pull away slightly. Hasn't broken the DRS to Lucalis. Can pace close in on Chiv and Rob ahead? Will Chiv potentially make a move on Rob here as we go down the straight? I'm seeing spots of rain. There's definitely rain. And the track, it's going to get so much more intense now. Will the drivers pit, or will they stay out until the end? I think Tesco is potentially going to make a move on Bosch here as we go down the straight. There's a McLaren in the pits. It's Luke. Lucalis is in the pits as Tobias, Tesco makes the move. Oh, look at the Haas! The Haas of Gio, there's contact. My goodness me, look at the over there, 3 wide going through. They're almost 4 wide going through T3 there. Mika Lando, I think, just backs out of it. Hopefully has some damage. Oh, there's a ghost of the Gio, and Tesco's round. The Mercedes driver at debut is round. And unfortunately has just got himself disqualified from the sprint race as well for resetting the track. A very big shame for the Mercedes driver there, as Mr. CD sits behind him. Potentially will try and make the move as we go up forward. Mika Lando gets himself a 3-second time penalty. I'm going to go on board with Skarma here, who sits behind Tobias. I'm actually going to go to Chiv. So we've got Pace and K-Pax sitting in 5th and 6th. Bosch is just running away from Mika Lando there. He does have the 3-second penalty, as does Mika Lando, of course. Lucalis, though, has he put on the tyre? He has! Luke and Kev have both put on the intermediate tyre. Is it too early? We'll have to see. We're just going to wait and see. Is anybody going to the pits? So the main 4 drivers stay out. Pace stays out. I think most drivers are going to stay out. I can see a move going on potentially here. I'm going to go on board with Devaro here as we see 4 abreast as we go. DRS on. Dale sits behind Baz. Will any of them make a move? Baz is also in the tow of Gio ahead as we see Bosch pulling away in the distance. There's Mika Lando in the pits. So drivers are putting on the intermediate tyres. I can see Skarma just right on the gearbox of Tobias. A very slight tap there. We shall see if anyone else boxes. There's 5 laps left. Look at the overspeed as Tobias tries to get a little bit of battery back. The track is starting to get extraordinarily slippery now. As we see, yes, the bottom 3 drivers on the intermediate tyres. We will see if it will come to them in the end. I think Rob is also just setting himself. He's saved up his battery. Whether he's going to make a move, we shall see. Gio is just leading the train up behind Bosch there. As you can see, Bosch trying to pull himself a 3-second gap. Rob's getting good traction. Oh, he's just lost it. The car is just complaining about trying to get some grip as Bosch gives himself another 3 seconds. He's on 6 seconds of penalties now, so he needs to properly put his foot down. As we watch these drivers go through again, will any of them go into the pits? Tobias does not. Rob does not. Skarma, Chiv, they all stay out. Pace even goes into the pits, as does K-Pax behind. They think it's time. They think it's time for the intermediates. Bosch goes in as well. Gio is going into the pits as Baz stays out. Dale and Devaro stays out as well. Excuse my voice break there. Tesco stays out. Mr. CD stays out as well. So some people say that it's time. Will they have made the right decision? Is it too late? As we see Lucalis going around the final corner there. Maybe his intermediates are just starting to come to him. We will have to see. I'm just looking now as the 4 lead drivers are going through Sector 2 at the moment. We've also got that Williams sandwich with Dale in between there. Oh, there's a big snap there from Lucalis as he comes out just behind K-Pax. So he might have timed this very well here, Luke. We'll have to wait and see. Pace even is managed to maintain himself a decent gap. I'm going to go on board now with the lead driver there of Chiv. Lead driver of Tobias with Chiv at the back of that train of 4 and see if any of them decide to go for a pit. The rain is starting. Look at that. Look how tentative Chiv is on the throttle there. Very nervous. The rain lights are flashing. DRS is still on. There's a big snap from Chiv, but he keeps it pointing in the straight line. These 4 are going. I think they're going to ride this one to the end. We will have to see if it's the right decision. We're going to go on board here with Baz. Just a slight lift going over the final corner there. And Baz is in. Baz takes the intermediate tyres. Dale and Devarro stay on. Oh, and Baz picks up a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Tesco and Mr. Seedy go through. They will probably see it to the end. Pace is the lead driver on the intermediate. He will jump Baz pretty easily. Let's have a look at who else we've got. We've got Kev running at the back here. He's on the intermediate tyres. Maybe we'll start closing in on Gio. Bosch has also picked it up as well, and he has jumped Baz there. I think he was ahead of Baz in the beginning, actually, but he comes out ahead. Let's see where I am now. This is Gio, excuse me. Bosch now. Mika Lando, I think, has jumped Bosch, actually. I think Mika was behind Bosch before he put the intermediates on. So the 6-second penalties will not be very favourable to Bosch. We shall see. DRS has been disabled. That is the time. That is the sign to go in. Tobias, very slow there. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. His drivers are just fighting for any bit of grip they can. Look at the 4 of them as they go through, so tentative. Will any of them box Tobias? Is he going to go straight? I think they're going to see this one to the end. No, Chiv! At the last minute, Chiv puts on the intermediate tyres. Will it be enough? We will have to see. Dale comes around at the end now. I think he's going to come out ahead of Chiv. Devarro sits behind him as well. Devarro goes for the pits. So Chiv has put on the wet tyres. The wets from Chiv there. I wonder if that was a mistake or if the rain is a lot heavier than it looks like on my screen anyway. Again, Tesco and Seedy staying out as we look here. Pace goes through. He jumps Chiv, as does K-Pax and does Luke. So you can see how much difference the intermediates are making now. Devarro puts on the medium tyres. Again, probably a mistake there for that. It's a shame the Williams drivers was doing so well. I'm going to go on board with Skarma now. I feel like they are just absolute nip and tuck through the middle sector here, but there's no grip on those soft tyres. 8 laps old as well. These are the only soft tyre. Oh, it's a big snap from Skarma. He does keep it pointing in the straight line. And I tell you what, that is Dale who is good. Oh, there's contact! There's contact! I was looking at the mini-map. Dale, Skarma, sorry, and Craig comes together. Oh, I was looking at the mini-map, but you would have seen it on your screens anyway. I'm just seeing Dale is absolutely holding up a train here. Look at the intermediate driver around the outside. Pace goes around the pair of them. Both Ferrari drivers having issues. There is an absolute... Like, how many cars there are here? There's Luke right at the back there. The soft runners are really struggling in these conditions. Pace pulls away. Look, they're about 3 wide going through the final corner here. That's Luke tucking in on the inside there as the soft tyres are just trying to survive. K-Pax is going side by side with his former teammate, now behind as well. Will he have any battery to make a move? He's going for it. He's trying to go for it. It's the 3 lead runners are still going out at the moment. Pace is 12 seconds behind. He might not have enough time unless the rain really starts to come down. But tell you what, Dale and Tesco and Seedy, they're staying out. They're running it to the end. You got to give credit where credit's due, but Seedy looks like he's gone wide. There's a yellow flag there up in Sector 2. I say it's just loads of cars going everywhere. Look at how bad it is for Dale. You can barely get on the throttle. That's Mika Lando going past him in the Aston Martin, as does Bosch there. And Tesco, the other Mercedes driver, really struggling. The car is screaming at him there. But look how much time. Look how much time Pace has pulled out. The other guy has a big snap, but he must have pulled the best part of about 6 seconds on the lead pair there. This is going to be remarkable. Pace has a chance to win his first ever, well, sprint race, but race here if he can. Look how quickly he's reeling them in. He's got 1 lap to pull these guys in, and I think he might even do it on the straight. That's how bad the tyres are for the soft tyre runners now. As we see Luke pulling it behind as well. K-Pax on for some very good points, especially after Luke's start. Look how tentative they are. And Pace is going to drive past them like they're not even there. Goes around the outside of 1. He waits, he bides his time. I think he's actually given that. Is he think he's trying to give that position back? No, that's Skarma going into the pits. Skarma did go around the Pace did go around the outside, but he's lost the time to Luke. Luke's pulled about a second and a half on him now as Gio passes Tesco in the back. There is Tesco still on the medium tires. Pace, will he make a move on Tobias here? He's going to look up the inside. Oh, Tobias don't even knowing he's there. Pace will happily take his joker there, and Rob, the lead driver there, as we go on to this little straight here down into the hairpin, and it's like it's an F2 car. Pace takes the lead of the sprint on the final lap, judging his strategy to perfection. We're seeing Luke behind as well, just pass through Tobias as well. He's probably going to go around the outside of Rob here. He will happily take P2. It's K-Pax in P3. He's picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's just waiting for his moment. Oh, it's a bit of contact as the car is, again, Rob is just desperately trying. Now, can K-Pax pull 3 seconds worth in this final sector here? I think he will, given how treacherous the conditions are here. And it looks like things are settling in now. Bosch is right up on the back of Mika Lando as well. But see if they're going to go here. Bosch around the outside of Skarma there as well. P7 as Mika Lando passes. But I'm going to go on board with Pace here in the Racing Bull. Will win his first race in P0. Pace wins the Portuguese sprint. Lugalis will come home in P2 and K-Pax in P3. A very good recovery from Luke there after his first lap. Chiv on the wet tyres will come home in P4. Robs and Craig and Michelando P5, 6, 7. Bosch in P8. Will he pick up his position here? He does stay with his penalties. Gio, debutant, scores points on debut in P10. Baz in P11. Kev will come home in P11 instead. Dale jumping up to P11 as well after all the penalties have been applied, and Devaro and Mr. CD will round us out. So again, that's Pace there in his first win. Lucalis K-Pax complete the podium. Chiv in P4 in the wet tyre. Rob Craig pick up P5 and 6 after staying out on the softs. Mika Lando in 7th. Skarma in the softs in 8th. Bosch P9. Gio scores points on his debut in P10. Dale finishes P11. Tesco finishes P12, but will be disqualified for resetting the track. I think that was Kev in P13 there. Baz in P14. Devaro in P15. And I think that was Mr. CD in P16 as well. That was absolutely fantastic. What a way to start the season. There it is. There's your final results there. Obviously, ignore the points on screen here. We use our own point system here. So it's points down to 10th. So again, congratulations to Gio there. Everybody managed to finish the race, which is, you know, always good to see. But plaudits to Pace. And, you know, I've got to give him the driver of the day as well. I know the game gave it to Pace, but I've got to give it to him. Absolutely brilliant drive there. Drove very well at the start, kept out of trouble, nailed his strategy absolutely perfectly, and picked up his very first win. Former teammate, actually. So I feel I've got like this. Me and him were teammates last season when I last raced, and it's like it's got a smile on my face seeing him. He has been fighting for this win for so long. I'm glad he's got it. Now he's got to do it in a feature race. But excuse me. Good Lord, that was absolutely exciting stuff, and we are straight into Q1. That was just the sprint. That was just the, you know, that was just the beginning. I am going to take a sip of my beer as I try and recover my throat from that absolute hectic race there. I mean, there were moments there where we were seeing 5, 6 cars fighting for position in sector 2, I think it was there, as you had this mix of intermediate and dry tire runner. Luke does say there, I have seen him say that he his lights broke there, but that is unfortunate for Lucalis there. As host, there is a known bug in this game where the lights don't always seem to work properly. They can sometimes go out a bit early, they can sometimes go out later. Speaking of going out, Skarma, once again, Excuse me, good lord. I'm feeling it in my throat now. Skarma's the first to go out here. We've got Dale and Mr. Seedy who've also gone out as well. But we'll stay on board. We'll stay on board with Skarma here. As he goes to set out his first lap, banker lap. So a reminder, as I said at the top of the stream, this is short qualifying. For those of you who aren't familiar with what that is, there's no knockout. It is one session, 18 minutes, for you to set the best time you can on the tyres that you have, and that determines the start of the grid. There's no knockout, no extra sessions. This is it. This sets the grid for the race. We see other drivers coming out here. Both Mercedes are out. There's the Williams of Baz, who is out at the moment as well, and the kick of... Who is that? That's Craig. Rain in the race too? I sure hope it is, Bosch, because that was mightily impressive. Don't do what you did at turn 2 again. As we go on board here with Skarma, I'm going to take all of it off here as he starts his flying lap. DRS on, uses the battery as he comes flying down the straight. Stick to the left-hand side. It's a very quick T1 here. You don't want to touch the curb because it will unsettle the car. Don't invalidate here. It's flat out, and then you've got a hard braking here of T3. You want to tuck into the curb on the right-hand side. You want to keep it in the middle of the track because T4 comes at you very quickly, and it's really easy to unsettle the car. Going down now to T5, which is where the hairpin is. You brake hard at the 100-meter zone. Turn it early. Clip the curb on the left-hand side. Get the car straight as you can. T6 is flat. T7 is the hard one here, as it is slightly off camber on exit. He goes very flat. Square up the car. Brake as hard as you can. And watch the throttle on exit so you don't lose the rear. He goes down up and hill and down the hill again, flat as you go out again, and you want to turn in when you can see the curb as it comes up on your right hand side. It's slightly blind here as it is uphill. As he comes out straight lines that corner, picks your braking where the white line is on the exit of the curb. You want to keep the car roughly in the middle of the track here, get all the way over to the left, dab of brakes, drop it down to third, touch the curb, wait for your time on throttle, and it's now. You fall on throttle now, use however much of the exit curb you want, don't scrub the speed as you go through the final corner, and keep it straight as you go over the final line. Use your DRS, use the rest of your battery, and it's a 16-8 from Skarma. A mighty good time there. I'm going to go on board with Mr. Seedy, who's also going to finish his lap there, as Dale is going to complete now. I'm not sure if Dale is invalidated or if he's going to finish his lap. He does! It's an 18-4 from the Red Bull driver there. Mr. Seedy comes across the line now, puts his DRS on, and it's a 19.5 for the Ferrari driver, as it is Craig crossing the line here with a 17.5, 7/10 off Skarma on the soft tyre. I'm going to put that up, as a couple of drivers might be thinking about the mediums. Tesco in the Mercedes qualified well in the last session, qualifies P3 here so far. I'm going to go on board with Kev, the other Mercedes driver, as he looks to round out his first flying lap, uses all the battery he has left, and puts it P5. It's 18.5, just 2 100ths off of Dale there, as the Williams there, of Baz, that is, I think is starting his lap now. We'll go on board with Baz, as he touches the curb on the left-hand side. Unsettles the car slightly, but still keeps it pointing in the right direction. You just need to set a lap for now. This is the slippery corner, really easy to invalidate on both sides here, but he does very well. DRS on. That's the Mercedes driver keeping out of the way there, as the Williams driver picks his braking point. Find the apex, there it is. Straighten up the car as soon as you can and throttle on. Flat all the way through here, and you want to brake in a straight line here, so take the curb, brake in a straight line as soon as you can. Just slightly misses the apex, but he'll keep it going. Momentum being the key point here. He's going to move over to the right here. You want to find your braking point, as it's here. Hard on the brakes as the car turns. The car complaining as it understeers as you brake a turn at the same time. A little nibble of the curb on the left hand there. Find your braking point here. Little touch of the curb there. Very well done. And again, it's this last corner. It's so critical for the straight. You want to get on throttle as soon as you can. And it's, you know, if you go too soon, you understeer. You go too late, you lose all the speed. It's so difficult to find your acceleration point. As Baz comes around and finishes his first flying lap and puts it P3. That's a 17.7 for Baz there. Very well done from him. That is an Aston Martin driver there who crosses the line on their flying lap. It's Rob, as one of the other Mercedes drivers. I think that might be Tesco, who looks like he's going to go again, but we're going to watch Rob here as he goes. Car keeping out of the way as they come out of the pits. through T3 for Rob. Rob can put a lap together here. That was the McLaren staying out of the way there. So there is a Mercedes on a flying lap behind as well. Rob puts on his DRS. Again, pick your braking point at the hairpin here. Purple, sector 1 for the Aston Martin driver. Wait for the Williams to get out of the way. He does indeed. Again, the technical sector. You want to try not to lose too much speed, excuse me, as you go through these. It's hard on the brakes, just ever so slightly wide, but keeps the momentum going, and it's flat all the way down the hill here. Very, very slight turn, barely a corner for these F1 cars. Turn in while braking over the crest. Very nicely done from Rob there. Takes a little bit of curb on exit. It's a purple sector 2 as well, as he goes around the slow corner at the beginning of sector 3, and now the very important penultimate corner. Waits for it, he gets on throttle now. How much curb is he going to use on exit here? He uses quite a lot of curb. That's what we love to see. Flies it around the final corner. Gorgeous view over the crest there. Turns on his battery, and 16.9 from Rob. So that is just under a tenth behind Skarma, who is looking mightily impressive here. Fair play to him as well. Is that Tesco, who might be on a... Tesco has run out of battery, so we're going to go on board here with... Who else we got floating around? Chiv is just starting his lap now, I believe. So again, driver keeps out of the way. I'm going to get rid of all these gubbins here. As we see Chiv, we're going to watch him do the same thing as everyone else. Can he go through up here? Very well done. DRS on. Use maybe a little bit of battery here. You kind of want a lot of it for the straight. Hard on the brakes. Williams driver getting out of the way. Chiv very close to invalidating there. I think he got away with it. We shall see, of course, at the end. Throws the car in. It's so quick, that corner, and you've got to square it up and brake instantaneously after going through it. It's a very tricky corner to do, especially for those who are not using ABS and even traction control as well. So don't invalidate on the left-hand side there. Let's see what this McLaren driver can do with his new teammate for the year, of course, Lugalis. Let's set the car up for the final straight, and again, you are just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We'll go on board. That McLaren sings going down the straight, doesn't it? Nobody else has set a time as of yet, except for Chiv, who puts it P3. It's a 17-2 for him there. I think that is one of the... that's Baz starting another lap there, potentially. It's a pretty decent time. Oh, he's invalidated. Unfortunate from the Williams driver there. It's a solid time from him so far. But just was too aggressive on turn 1 there. Let's have a look. Mr. CD is on an outlap, as is Dale. A lot of drivers, I think, waiting. I'm going to find Devaro here as well, who is just going to start his lap here. I think Gio is on a lap as well. Let's go on board with our debut driver. No, he's on an outlap. Excuse me. Or he's setting up for one as well. Bosch is also on an outlap up the road here, as is Luke. We might go on board with Luke in a few moments, but I'm just going to watch Devaro for now. As he says so, I think he's been on a lap already and maybe invalidated, so he's struggling on his battery a little bit here. He's not going to be fully optimum, but we will see how he does at the end here. Luke has got on the medium, so I'm not going to jump on board with him, but I'm curious to see where he goes, because he will go again on the softs. Mika Lando does put the car 17.7. I must have missed that, so apologies there to the Aston Martin driver. Pace and K-Pac still in the pits as well. As we have a look at Mark Devaro, even as he rounds us out in Sector 3 here. We've got a Kick and a Haas ahead of them. I think they are both starting their lap. Yes, it's Bosch and Gio who are both starting laps, unless one of them pits here. So Bosch is going to get a mighty toe off of Gio there, but we're going to see the Williams driver here as he rounds out the final corner. Gio puts a 124.9. I think he's going to go again. Devaro with a 118.3 there. Squares himself in between the Mercedes driver and the Red Bull driver. I'm going to go on board with Gio here, who is on his flying lap now, our debut driver. Again, Bosch there is getting an absolutely monstrous toe off of this Haas here. Hopefully he doesn't actually hold him up through the middle sector, because they are both on their flying laps. As we have a look here. I'm going to go on board with Bosch just behind him here because I'm curious to see what this looks like from the TV pad. It's almost like we're in a race here. Oh, look at the snap! Oh, the Haas driver's off. His lap's gone. He's had a snap of oversteer and dips it into the gravel. But we will watch Bosch round out here. It takes that remarkably quickly through that corner there. Allegedly a purple sector 2. As we see him now just round out, used all of his battery up, so he's going to feel it on the straight here. K-Pax is starting his lap in just a moment as well. The other Ferrari is just coming up behind. I think he's on a lap here, but we can see what Bosch does first. It's P7. It's a 117.7. That's about 15 hundredths off of Baz there. Very tidy indeed. Oh, it's a big snap there. I'm going to go on board with... I always love seeing Bosch go through the first couple of corners. K-Pax has invalidated on his flying lap. Luke does put it as P9 on the medium tyre. That's a 17.8 for the McLaren driver there, but he will obviously go again. I'm not sure if we have anyone else on a lap at the moment. Gio has invalidated. CD's in the garage. Dale is also just being wheeled in. There's a Williams there. Baz, who has invalidated... let's see who else is there. That's another Williams there of Devaro, I think. Devaro is going at the moment here. Yeah, I think he's either setting up for a lap or he's about to pit in because he doesn't have a lot of fuel left. And he doesn't have a lot of batteries. I'm not sure if he's on a flyer. There's a Mercedes running around now. This is Kev, who I think is either coming in or is about to set up. We're just waiting a minute. Pace is going to come out now. Now, your sprint race winner, Pace, there. Can he see? I think he qualified, was it P7 or P8 off the top of my head for the previous race. So we will see how he does. Everybody just sitting in at the moment, waiting for their opportunity to go at the very end. I think that's Scarmo's come out there, or is that Pace? Just no, that's Dale. Excuse me, I'm getting the blue icons mixed up there. Kev is gonna go around again. He's gonna go for a push lap. He doesn't have any battery. Dale's come out, but Pace is just starting his lap now. So let's see how Pace does. I'm going to go on TV pod here. I'm going to remove all of my spectating, and we're going to see what Pace's lap looks like. Brake at the 50 marker. Touch the curb very slightly there. Don't invalidate on the right. Flat all the way through here, and then turn 3. You want to turn the car in sharp. Don't touch the curb on the left-hand side. Get the car in the center. As you go through T4, don't invalidate. Don't lose the car going up the hill either. TC kicked in very slightly there for the V-carb driver. Brake at the 100-meter board. He brakes at 75 for the hairpin. He does miss it slightly, but he is going to carry the speed through anyway. Hopefully he hasn't lost too much time here. Flat over 6. Flat through 7. Square it up for the braking. Brakes and turns very quickly there. Very well done from Pace there. As he goes up and down the hill. Flat again for one of my favorite corners, the blind turn. You brake and turn at the same time. The tyre's complaining as he washes a little wide. Doesn't invalidate. Does very well. Touch the curb again. Find the white line. Brake at the white line. Take the car in again. Slightly wide. He's going to have to carry the speed through. He's going to move all the way to the left. Touch the curb very slightly. Wait for the throttle. Now he's on throttle. How much curb does he use? He uses a healthy bit of it. Turn as little as you can through here to not scrub the speed. Use whatever battery you have left. Sit in the middle of the track, and Pace will cross the line in P4. 17-3 for our sprint race winner, as a couple of the drivers starting to come out now. Michelando, Bosch, and Skarma, Devaro, CD, and K-Pax all on their outlaps. Dale, I think, is starting his lap now as well. If you excuse me, there we go. Plays funny bugger sometimes. Let's go on board with Dale as he's on his outlap. He's just waiting to start. I think he's doing 2 warm-ups there. Craig is on the pits. I noticed he dropped and reconnected. I think he's just going to be coming out. Yeah, I can see him coming out now, so he's able to get another lap in. Tesco is coming out, as is Chiv in the other McLaren, I think that is. Or it's Lucalis. Luke does like to go out very late, in fairness. Let's have a look at who's that crossing of the line. That's Mr. CD crossing the line there. He will start his lap. K-Pac's the only one to not set a representative time at the moment. That's Michelando, who's just started a lap behind him as well. Mr. CD now. Let's see what the reserve Ferrari driver can do. Keeps it sensible over the crest. Does very well. Let's see, that's Kev, who's boxing. His qualifying is over. It's P11 at best for Kev now. Dale has just started his lap now. I think Gio is going to start his lap, as is Bosch. We will try and keep up with them. I'm going to watch this Ferrari driver go to the very end here. He's just fighting the car all the way through Sector 2 there. McLaren stays out of the way as well. Can anyone unseat Skarma? We shall have to see. Tobias there is going through. That's a blue car in the pits there. I think that is one of the V cars. That's Pace. That will be actually coming in, isn't it? Yes, that's Pace. Mercedes stays out of the way as our Ferrari driver comes in. K-Pax sets a 17.8. That's it for K-Pax. I think P11 at best for the Ferrari driver, unless he's got enough in the tank to set another lap. But we are going to see Mr. Seedy cross the line here and puts it P13, an 18.2 for the Ferrari driver. Lucalis will be the last to cross the line. I'm going to go on board here with Michelando as Rob starts his lap. Michelando is next to cross the line there. Michelando puts it... Oh, he's going to start it. Sorry, excuse me. I'm not keeping up with it very well. Indeed. I think, did Chiv is on his lap now. Luke has just started his lap. Let's go on board with Gio in the Haas there as he crosses the line to go P8, 17.74, 4 1,000ths ahead of Bosch there, who I think is just starting his lap now. Yeah, Bosch is just starting his lap now as well. Very aggressive through T1. Wouldn't expect anything less from that man. Baz crosses the line here. He's stays P10. I don't think he's got enough battery to go against. 117.7 for him. Craig puts it P3 with a 17.2. Let's have a look here as K-Pax crosses the line once again. Can he improve? He does! It's 17.6 for K-Pax. It's P7 for him. That is Skarma 16.8. He can't improve. I think it's Chiv going around the line now. Yeah, Chiv crosses the line now. 117.0. Very well done for him. Tesco takes the line with a 17.6. Rob goes pole. It's a 16.7 for Rob. There as Michelada puts it P6. Can Luke upset them at the top? I'll have to see where he is. I don't think... Yeah, Luke goes P4. There it is. A 17.1. Excuse me. I missed it there for a minute. And that, I think, is that. I don't think anyone else is on a flying lap. I just tried to grab Rob at the end there and wasn't able to get there in time. Matches Tesco's time exactly. It does! It does, you're right! For the two times in one race weekend, we've had an exact same time match. That's remarkable. Tobias is yet to take the flag. I don't know if he's going to be able to... No, he's validated. So he will finish P5. And there is your grid. Rob takes pole position for the race over Skarma P2. Chiv puts in a very healthy P3 with his teammate Luke in P4. Craig P5. Pace, our sprint winner, in P6. Michelando in P7. Bosch in P8. Tesco P9. Capex P10. Gio P11, Baz P12, Kev in P13, Mr. Seedy in P14, Devaro in P15, and Dale hits us at the back of the grid in P16 in the Red Bull. Looks to be an interesting grid. So with Rob, Skarma, Chiv, and Tobias, 4 of the top 5 there were our front-running pack in the sprint. If you remember, Luke obviously had a rotten start because of the lights. Pace there in P6, not far off where he started again as well. If he can pull off, if there is going to be rain in the race as well, and Pace can pull off a particularly tidy strategy, we could see him be up there as well. Michelada, Bosch with a good start here. Tesco starting down in P9 as well. This ought to be a particularly fun race. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is the unknown, isn't it? There is your starting grid. That is some mightily tight qualifying there. I mean, Rob and Skarma are eons ahead of the pack there. But 3/10 between P3 and P6. And look at that. Look at 8th down to 10th there. Look, that's what, 5/100ths separating 3 drivers. Of course, 2 of them setting the exact same time as well. That is some remarkable stuff. Right, I'm just checking up with, catching up with the messages. It's raining! It's a wet start at Portugal for what is already a slippery track. This is going to be mighty, mighty fun indeed. Now, is it going to rain for the whole race? We will see. I'm just waiting to load in here. We are off for the formation lap. I'm just having a quick peek at the general chat here. I think... I haven't seen anyone leave. I think we're going ahead. I'm not to be told otherwise. I think someone might have readied up a smidge too early, so let's have a look. Is everybody on the... Ah, mix of tyres! Mix of tyres! Interesting. So nobody's on the intermediate tyre. There's definitely rain falling. I guess you can't start on the intermediates. I think this is a feat. I think this is a bug, if you will, in this game, where if it's picking at rain but it's not at the crossover point, you can't choose to start on the intermediate tire. I actually don't know if you can box under the formation lap, so this is going to be an absolutely hectic first couple of laps, I would imagine. We'll watch Rob here as he goes and runs us through the formation lap as drivers just trying to find their positions, warm up their tyres in what will be a very greasy track. So 2 hard tyre runners on the front row, 2 medium tyre runners on the second row there, the McLarens, excuse me. Craig, Pace, Mika and Bosch all on the hards, Tesco and K-Pax on the mediums, Gio, Baz and Kev on the hards, Mr. Seedy on the mediums, and then Davaro and Dale on the back row on the hards as well. So, people running. A mix of tyres. We will have to see how it goes. We're just waiting for Gio, I think that is there, in the middle pack there, as everybody starts to line up and find their positions. That's a couple of DSQs across the grid there. People struggling to get into their pit box there. That Haas is going all over the place there in the background, but I think he managed to get it worked. Dale appears to be going just coming up to the back there. Right, we're going to go on board with Rob, our pole sitter. I got to turn it off as we wait for the 5 red lights for the first race of the season. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are go in Portugal. It's a very hesitant start from all the drivers in the greasy conditions, but Rob is able to keep his start there. Look at the McLaren drivers and the medium tyres. Look at the guy on the outside. Skarma likes to defend on the inside. There's a bit of bump and tuck there. One of the McLarens jumps ahead. I think that might be Lucalis. Not sure. The other McLaren driver going up the inside of Skarma, and it's a McLaren have gone from a 3-4 to a 1-2. It's Chiv who did get ahead there. As we see the tyre strategies cars all the way in the background there. Everybody has kept it neat and tidy there. K-Pax at 10-second time penalty for Baz there. I think he's had a moment off the top of my... we'll have to wait and see. Kev, I think, dropped back a few positions as well. Craig has had a disconnect. It's all happening here. I don't want telemetry. I want... where am I? Position changes. Yes, so K-Pax jumps up 4 positions. Mr. CD and Dale does. The Williams drivers dropping back. I think Baz potentially had a moment cutting across the gap. He got an instant 10-second time penalty. K-Pax with another very good start. Tesco just jumps past Mika Lando in the mid-pack there. I'm going to go on board with that and see if he will have another go again, as he does. Yeah, Michelino goes with the inside. And that's Gio. Gio alongside there. Tesco doesn't give him a lot of room, but Gio looks for the switchback maybe. Does him go into the straight. It's a mix of tyres and the slippery conditions. A big snap from Gio. He's going to use his battery. They go side by side to the final corner. Oh, Tesco just keeps it just ahead. All the drivers staying out. The rain is falling. The rain is falling, but we will see. So Tesco's using a bit of battery ahead there. Gio is just going to sit behind him. I think that's Mr. CD as well, who just waits there. Rob was right up at the back there, as Mr. CD has a snap there of Chiv. Oh, sorry, Chiv's in the lead. Excuse me. Chiv must have passed Rob there on the start. I got my positions mixed up. I missed that for the lead. That's fine. Rob is now just going to sit on the back of them. Luke, you can see in his rear left mirror there. Skarma sticks onto the back of them there. K-Pax leading a pack there as Pace sits in behind him. We've got both drivers there of the kick car. I think Tobias has had a rotten couple of corners there as Michelando. No, he's disconnected. Of course he has. Michelando passes through him. Gio sticks in behind him. Kev and Devaro just fallen back a bit. Potentially have had a moment or two. It's very tight in the mid-pack here. That looks like Baz, who might be having a sneak at Mr. CD, decides not to do it. I'm going to go on board here with Lucullus as we go onto the back of Rob here for the straight, as there's a bit of a gap forming behind these four drivers here as the rain does start to fall. Chiv pulling a nice gap on Rob here. DRS is enabled, I think. The rain is... I think the rain... Yeah, the rain is slightly coming down. Well, I'll be able to tell if DRS is on now in a minute. Oh, look, the car just jumps there as Tesco passes Gio in the mid-pack there. Coming onto the pit straight there. The DRS is on there. Flying laps going absolutely everywhere. Tesco there has been dropped back by Gio. Dale passes through him as well as Rob stays behind Chiv. Skarma behind Luke. And we see these cars run through for the next couple of laps. I'm going to go all the way back down here to Tesco as he's having an absolute whale of a fight between him. Gio, Dale behind him as well. Tobias there, the driver who disconnected. Tesco looks to lead us through. Mr. CD going up the inside of Dale. Can he make this move? Stick going down to the hairpin in the second DRS zone. CD goes down the inside and makes the move. Can Dale switch back? Oh, there's contact there as they do bump each other ever so slightly. It's all going on here. We're going to go on board with Baz here and just watch as these skate through the middle sector here. The car still very slippery. Dale, look at Dale, look at him. He's having a look at Mr. CD. He looks to the right, he looks to the left, he looks to the right again. Is he going to have a send? As Tesco there up ahead goes alongside and looks to go around the outside of Gio there. Does he make the move stick? He does. He does make it stick as Gio struggles for grip behind him. Mr. CD behind him. No change for position up ahead as it stands. Bosch is just attached onto the DRS of Pace, leading a train of Mika and Craig there as well. I don't think we're going to see any overtakes there. Tesco looks to try and run away from this track here a little bit. You've got Mr. CD along the side of Gio here, both using whatever battery they've got left. They're closing on a Tesco quite rapidly there. Dale is just behind, and Mr. CD holds the position, goes slightly wide. Will Dale have a look up the inside of Mr. CD here? He thinks about it. He's got a Williams on his outside there as Baz looks to switch back as they go into the second DRS zone. Mr. CD, though, gets a good run on the Haas there of Gio alongside. Is he going to send it up the middle of the hairpin? Mr. CD goes for the braking move and takes out of it. Dale goes around the outside. Is he going to get any run here on Mr. CD? He's got a Williams right on his rear tyre there. And what is it? Kev and Devaro are coming right into this as well. Dale looks at the inside. It'll be an audacious move on the Ferrari driver. Just sits under the rear wing. Tesco has left. And now he's pulled the gap. He's going to try and rein in that pack there ahead of him. There, Dale, look at the inside. Is he going to go with the move on Mr. CD on this move here? There's no room there. And they just keep it out of each other. Baz there looks, he's still trying to find his way through. DRS is still on. The track is greasy. Cars are streaking everywhere. And we are going to see an absolute crazy run down the main straight here, I think. I'm going to go on board with Gio. We are going to see if anyone else has a go on the main straight here. I'm just having a look. Bosch might actually be having a move on Pash here. He's running in, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's going down the inside! Bosch in T1 makes the move on pace, and Bosch moves up into P6, overtaking the sprint race winner. Looking back, there was no change for position down there with Gio, CD, Dale, and Baz. Having a look up here, Rob is getting right onto the gearbox of Chiv, who is still leading. Luke and Skarma there, just getting even closer together. Biding their time, waiting for the time, potentially. I think the rain has just stopped. I think the rain is just starting to peak away. I'm not seeing any more dashes on the visor, so I'm assuming it's going to be dry until the end, unless I have anything reason to think otherwise. I can see Pace is just absolutely sitting on the gearbox there. He's just trying to sit back, bide his time. Probably going to have a go down the main straight here, as K-Pax is very slowly trying to chip in to that front four there. I'm going to go on board here with Lucullus as they crest over. They'll love that camera angle as they go over. Chiv does very well out of that last corner. Luke has DRS. Rob will as well. Does Luke have enough battery to potentially go for a move? Rob's closing. Rob's closing very quickly there. Is he going to have a go? He's not. He's going to stick behind Chiv there. And there is a lot of moves going on there. Where is that? That is Pace making the move there on Bosch. And Michelando making the pass on Bosch as well as there. Bosch getting absolutely screwed by the DRS there. Dale looks like he's jumped Mr. CD for the moment. I don't know if he's going to have another go on Gio there. We'll have a look. They are still side by side. Dale turns the DRS on, and Dale makes the pass. The broadcast camera not doing me any favors there. Oh, there's a bit of contact there from the Haas driver. Mr. CD picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure for corner cutting. That's fine. Baz still on this train. These four have been absolutely duking it out. Elbow, hip, and shoulder for any position they can get. Again, Kev and Tavaro just sitting on the back of them as well, all fighting for a chance here. If Craig is still disconnected, is unable to join back, then whoever leads this pack will get the points for 10th place there. Of course, points go down to 15th in these races here. And Lucullus looks like he's very close to Rob there. Does he have enough battery to make a move, or is Rob going to burn everything he has? Chiv is a sitting duck here. He's going to have to wait. Everybody's just trying to get any battery they can, probably struggling. Tesco sets the fastest lap of the race so far. He is starting to absolutely scythe in on that group of cars there. He's going to sit behind Bosch there as Pace is trying to buy this time to overtake Michelando. Tesco now, he's passed through Tobias, who unfortunately I think is having connection issues at the moment. But I'm just keeping an eye on the relative here. Tavaro makes the pass on Kev right at the back there. Down at the hairpin at the end of that second DRS zone. Tesco just has to wait behind Bosch. There's your tyres. Medium tyres doing work for Tesco here, but they will start to fall away in due time. I'm just looking at that front pack here to see if there's any more DRS moves. I don't think anyone is able to properly save. What was that? Tavaro, and that was someone else who picked up a 3-second time penalty. It was so fast I didn't see it. We're going to have just keep an eye on. I think that front four is as you were. Chiv does set the fastest lap. Bosch has fallen behind slightly from Pace and Michelando. Can Tesco make a move here? DRS is on. He's not got a lot of battery, but neither does Bosch. And it's not even a contest. The Mercedes driver moves into P8 and passes Bosch. Very good run so far. No change up ahead. Chiv leads Rob. Leads Lucullus. Leads Skarma. So the McLaren driver is getting an absolutely fantastic start in the greasy conditions. Obviously, Rob and Skarma running a different strategy as Bosch makes a move back past Tesco there, down at the hairpin. And there's a yellow flag. There's a yellow flag. It's Baz. I think it's Baz who appears to have had an accident. He's either spun or he's had a good whack with someone. Baz, who's already got a 10-second time penalty for something that happened earlier in the race. Very unfortunate for him. Devarro now is gone into the back of Mr. Seedy, who's just fallen back from Gio. Gio now, again, just sitting on Dale. These two Gio, the only one of this fighting lap that doesn't have a penalty so far. Pace looking very close at the back of Michelanda, though. He might have a go down here. Down the pit straight as we see Tesco will probably make another move on Bosch. We'll keep an eye on that. Chiv almost a second away in the DRS zone, but isn't able to do it. Chiv really starting to pull away now. We're just on board here with the overhead view as Pace sits in the DRS. He's gaining on Michelando. He's gaining. Is he going to make the move? He does indeed, as Tesco makes the move on Bosch in the background as well. Pace moves back into P6, but has got a lot of work to do if he wants to get anywhere up to that front pack. I'm just going to go on board with Bosch here, who might have another run at Tesco here. In fact, you know what? I think Michelando might have another run here at Pace. He's decided against it. Bosch too far away. There's another yellow flag. Who is that off in the background? It's Mr. Seedy, the Ferrari driver, off in turn 3. Again, either had an accident there or he's had a spin. We will see, I'm sure, in the steward's room after the race if it was any sort of accident. A shame for the Ferrari driver. He was driving very, very well there in the middle pack, having a great battle with Dale and Gio, and he's just sunk back ever so slightly. I'm going to go back on board now with Skarma as we watch the... Actually, I'm going to go with Rob on the broadcast view here. Again, it's a similar case with these. Chiv gets a very good run out of that last corner, doesn't he? Rob and Luke don't really have enough battery to probably battle each other, and Skarma just sitting on the back. Biding his time. Rob now sets the fastest lap. Rob is closing in on Chiv. Rob moves over to the left-hand side and decides not to go for it, but he's just letting Chiv know he's there. But he's now got to deal with Luke, who will be right up there. Michelando repasses Pace there, and Pace just goes past. I think there might have been a bit of argy-bargy there at T1 and T2. Rob really struggling to recharge his battery anywhere else. Skarma's, again, just biding his time. Luke just waiting. K-Pax is slowly chipping in on this group, very slowly. Pace and Michelando are pulling each other further. Bosch and Tesco as well, also having a great tussle there. I can see them going side by side loads of times. When they pass one, they're actually nearly side by side now, excuse me. When they pass one in the mid-straight, they're passing the other on the second straight. The clouds are getting a little bit darker, you know, and I could see a Haas going side by side there and being passed by, was that Devarro? It was indeed. Gio pick up 3-second time penalty, and he's going to go back up the inside of the Williams driver. There's a little bit of contact, and Devarro takes it back again. Gio is going to probably come back on him. This is fantastic racing. Who is going to be the lead car at the time we get to the pit straight? But ahead, I can see Lucalis potentially having a look at Rob here. Luke is using his DRS, but Rob uses whatever battery he has. He doesn't want to go for the overtake. Very, very interesting stuff there. We're going to go back to the Haas driver now. Is he going to have a go at the Williams driver of Devarro down the pit straight? Devarro has no battery left at all. Gio uses whatever he has, DRS on, goes on the left-hand side. Oh, they've collided! They've collided. Gio hits the grass, hits the wall as well. He's surely got wing damage from that. He does indeed. Devarro comes off okay. And Gio will now have to pit for a new wing. Crazy stuff here. I'm going to go back on board here with... I'm going to see Bosch and Tesco are having an absolute, incredible battle, these two. They're going back and forth loads and loads and loads of times. Rob is just sitting a little bit closer to Chiv's gearbox there. I think the hards are going to start coming towards the mediums a little bit. As we see Skarma again sitting on that track. He's a lot closer to Lucalis now, Skarma. It might be time for these mediums to come in. I'm going to have a look on board with Rob here as he is going to go into the slipstream, and Chiv boxes. Chiv goes in because he knew he was a sitting duck. Speaking of sitting ducks, Skarma makes the pass on Lucalis for P2, and the hard tyres are starting to come towards the medium tyres now. They're definitely quicker. I am going to go back now as Bosch is sitting on the gearbox of Tesco. Tesco's recharging his battery. It's a late move from Bosch. It's a hard break on the inside, and it's a very good pass from the kick driver, who's had a fantastic race so far here with Tesco, but Tesco will come back at him again. Chiv comes out of the pits here just ahead of Mr. Seedy. By the looks of it, is Tesco going to have a look at the inside? Now he's gaining. He's going to go for a late move. He decides against it, moves ever so slightly to position himself up. They'll follow each other, line astern through Sector 2 here, until the straight, in which they will play the game all over again. That was a big snap from Bosch there, wasn't it? Baz has got Chiv for company now. Skarma is the first of the front runners to pick up a time penalty. You've got Kev and you've got Baz here who are yet to box. Chiv needs to get past his traffic. Oh, he's had to brake because of a snap of oversteer from the Williams driver there. Chiv makes the pass around the outside, but that's going to struggle to keep him in any sort of position. He might even be undercut by his overcut by his teammate as Lucullus stays out. Lucullus in the DRS of Skarma decides to stay out. He's extending. An interesting strategy from our previous runner-up here as Chiv just looks to set himself up for an easy pass on the Kev, the Mercedes car of Kev, who is on older, hard tyres. Chiv on the fresh hards as well, fresh mediums, excuse me, will fly past. Chiv, I've just clicked, Chiv's on the fresh mediums. Are we looking at a two-stop from the McLarens here? Or was it a mistake from the McLaren driver? We'll have to wait and see. He does make the pass perfectly fine. Tesco and Bosch are still going at it. These two are scarcely a chance to breathe. Look at Bosch, he's trying to go around the outside of him. As Luke makes the pass on Skarma there, there's a yellow flag. It's Gio. I think he probably went a bit wide there, the Haas driver. I think Skarma had a moment because Luke has jumped up by about a second ahead of Skarma there. I think Skarma went wide. So we'll see. Chiv is just trying to make his way through. He's just getting on Devaro now. He's just going to tow Kevin Maz forward a little bit. And Mr. CD and Gio, obviously our drivers who've had incidents sort of running at the back now. A safety car would benefit them very, very well. Bosch is now going to set up for another move here. I'm going to quickly check. I don't know if Craig is unable to join. I don't even know if I've got him. I do. I'll chuck him an invite if he isn't already in the session. Just in case. But we're going to see Bosch here, and we're going to play the same game again. Luke has pitted, as has K-Pax. They've both pitted. Bosch stays behind him. Decides not to go for it. Chiv sets the fastest lap of the race so far. And it is Rob in P1 as it stands. I'm going to go all the way over here. So as it stands, Rob is in P1. Skarma is in P2, both on the hard tyres. Pace is in P3, yet to box as well. If I get the... yeah, so the laps you can see there. Pace is yet to box. Michelando a couple of seconds behind him. Tesco in P5 with Bosch in P6, although these two will probably have changed positions by the time I finish. Craig in P7. Hopefully he's able to get back in because he was unable to get an invite. I wasn't aware that he wasn't in the session fully. Dale in P8 after his many a battle with the other drivers. Chiv, the earliest driver in the pack to have pitted, is in P9. I think he's about 2.5 seconds ahead of Luke there. Devaro there in P10 in the Williams, yet to pit. Lucullus has a bit of clean air in P11. Kev in P12. Baz just had a look around the outside of Kev there in P13. K-Pax in P14, also having boxed. Mr. CD in P15, and then Gio, our Haas driver, in P16. As Pace, Skarma pits, excuse me there. As Tesco is still running on those medium tyres. Fair play to him indeed. Now I'm curious where Chiv is going to come out in relation to Skarma. Chiv lets himself get passed by Dale, and Chiv is a mile ahead of Skarma there, it must be said. Craig has DNF'd. I think Craig has had some connection issues. It's a shame. He's a very quick driver, and he's a potential favourite for the title, but he's just had everything go wrong with him today. So Chiv makes the pass back on Dale after their excursion. And Chiv is now in the net lead of this race still, unless Rob can overcut massively. Skarma's come up behind Luke, so Luke has managed to make that move work. Pace here also, potentially a safety car could really shake things up here. Pace just running in clean air here, Michelando as well. A couple drivers with penalties. If we have a look here, if I can get where the penalties are, there they are. So a couple of penalties across the way. Baz with an impressive 16 seconds of penalties. 10 of which I know were given to him straight away at the beginning of the lap. I think he had an issue where he either cut or spun across a bit of the track, but not a lot we can do, I don't think. I'm not sure if you serve that straight away or not, but that's a talk for another time. 3 seconds for a couple of drivers across the field. Most importantly to Skarma, who was in one of the front runners. Kev, Gio, Dale, Bosch, and Mika all have 3 seconds. Devaro and Mr. Cedi all have 16 seconds as well. So I'm going to keep that on, and I'm going to keep the interval on here, as Devaro makes a move on Dale there. These two just sitting in the slipstream of Luke and Chiv there, aren't they? Just letting those front runners with fresher tyres run ahead. Luke is on the hards. I can't remember if Chiv started on the mediums or the hards. I'm pretty sure he started on the mediums, so I wonder if he's doing a 2-stop or if he's... he did start on the hards and he can't be running mediums to the end, surely. But we shall see. Devaro just pulling away from Mark there. He's got a good run so far. But it's all calmed down a little bit here. This is your main battle. Luke is still pulling away from Devaro there, but Devaro might get a bit of DRS depending on how we go through Sector 3 here. But the key battle here is, can Rob extend enough? I'm going to take a bit of my beer there to... My jaw's starting to hurt from all this yapping. I tell you who is coming on the scene extremely quickly is Skarma on the fresher tyres there. Michelando and Tesco both pit. So we'll see where they filter out in a minute. We're just going to see Skarma pass as Dale goes into the pits, but Skarma will happily take the DRS there as he tries to gain in on Devaro. Skarma gaining on Devaro very quickly, but not going to be enough. Let's see, Dale and Kev pit. Dale in an impressive strategy. Dale is... Oh, there's contact! Skarma has hit the back of Devaro there. Has he managed to pick up any wing damage? I was looking at the rare double interstrat there from Dale and Kev. Not entirely sure what's going on there, and it distracted me so much. There's another bit of contact. Skarma's pushing Devaro along, saying, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way," he says. But Devaro, it's fighting for position. He's entitled to do it. And this is just helping the McLarens absolutely streak away from Skarma there. I hear you, Cleon. Chiv might be chucking on the softs, but surely there's too much of a... I mean, from the lead? That's a ridiculous strat from the lead, surely. I want to check in a minute. Is Dale actually... They are on the intermediate tyres. I'm not sure what's happened here, if I'm honest, but they will limp themselves back to the pits and see what they can do. I'm just going to go back on board with Skarma here as he looks to make the pass on Devaro. As Bosch pits... He was fighting with Tesco. I'm curious to see if Tesco will come out ahead of him there. We will have to see. I think he will. I'm not sure who was in front of who when we go. I tell you what, it's going to be pretty tight, actually. No, I tell you a lot. Oh, actually, no, it is going to be pretty... No, Tesco makes the move pretty cleanly. I misjudged that. That's fine. Bosch has got some work to do. He's got the fresher tyres. He's got the softer tyres. Than Tesco, so let's see if he can chip his way back up to our Mercedes driver and see what they can do. Dale and Kev both pitting there for the more sensible medium tyres. Not entirely sure what would have happened there, but I'm sure we will have some sort of debrief later on. It's calmed down a little bit now. We had drivers on a mix of tyres, sort of, properly duke it out, and everybody's sort of got their little pattern now. Everybody's spread out a little bit. So we're just going to go on board with our leader here. Haven't checked in Rob on a while. He's kind of been running on his own a little bit here. He is pulling... Oh, that's a Mercedes driver. That was a Mercedes driver of... Who was that? Was that Kev? I think it might have been Kev, who had an incident of some sort, I think. I must have missed that. It surprised me there when I was talking about Rob there. But yeah, Rob is just... He is pulling on pace, excuse me. He's getting about 10 seconds or so. Rob is now 20.5 seconds ahead of Chiv. I'm not sure how long a pit stop is here, but I think Chiv is in net lead as it stands. Safety car obviously would work very benefits for them. They're the only drivers not to have pit other than Devaro and Baz, on both Williams drivers, P6 and P7 there. Maybe they're running to the end for the softs. Maybe they're going to run, a couple more laps. There's a yellow flag. That is where is that? That was Tesco, I think, who maybe had a moment. But Bosch has gotten past him now. So these two are going to go in for an absolute duke of a fight here. I've also just spotted Mika Lando has closed in on K-Pax quite significantly on those medium tyres, so they could be in for an absolute battle here. And we are starting to see it come together. Dale is also closing in on Gio. I can see Gio is off in turn 2. Gio's had a moment. I think he's recovered as Kev just passes him. So no safety cars. It's Rob's pit. Rob has pit, so is he going to come out ahead of Chiv? He is not. He is not as... where are we at? Luke and Skarma passes Luke. And Rob comes out at the very end there. We're just going to see Mika Lando make the pass on K-Pax here. And that was all happening there. So I think Skarma made the pass on Lucalis there as Rob was coming out of the pits. So Chiv is in the lead by 2.7 seconds ahead of Skarma, who has a 3-second time penalty. Lucalis will sit happily behind him. But, of course, Chiv still needs to pit. I'm sure he does. Rob there as well on the fresh medium tyres will come right in. I don't know if there's a way I can see. I can, yes. Chiv has to pit. So Chiv will surely put the soft tyres on. And I guess run to the end. A brave strat from first, it must be said. I'm just going to watch Luke here as he is right on the gearbox. Skarma does not want to be passed by the VCARB driver, as Rob is really closing in as well. Mika Lando is right on the back of the Williams drivers as well. I expect him to probably make a move on the pit straight at both of them as well. K-Pax still sitting in the DRS. Tesco and Bosch. Tesco still sitting just behind him. Lucalis is sitting behind Skarma. Lucalis is using his batteries, using his DRS, but I don't think he's going to make the move. He's going to have to wait. Skarma defends well. Pace has just pitted, but we'll see where he comes out ahead as well. He has been jumped by Mika Lando, who does make the pass on one of the Williams drivers, I believe. Yes. Pace comes out just behind K-Pax, but he's on significantly fresher tyres, so we will see how he can do. Luke doesn't make the move into the hairpin on Skarma, sits behind for another lap. I'm going to see here if Tesco can do anything here. Bosch is just trying to recharge his battery by the looks of it. And Tesco is just sitting behind him, getting towed along for the time being. We'll see what K-Pax can do as he sits on these Williams drivers who are really struggling on those hard tyres now, I think. K-Pax might even make a move in the infield here. We'll have to wait and see. Baz carrying a lot of penalties, obviously. The longer K-Pax gets stuck behind this Williams, though, the less chance he has to fight with Mika Lando. Pace as well is going to need to drive his socks off to score anywhere near where he qualified after seriously extending on those hard tyres. Bosch looks like he's broken the DRS to Tesco on the fresh medium tyres as Rob makes the move on Lucalis down the straight there as K-Pax goes side by side with the Williams. The cars touch there. There's a yellow flag as Gio looks to keep going and K-Pax makes the move. Lucalis, though, is falling down to 4th there as Rob looks to make a move on Skarma here. Rob could go from P4 to P2 in just a couple of corners. He decides not to send it. Maybe he's saving the medium tyres. Maybe he's waiting behind Skarma because he knows Chiv has to pit again and Skarma has a 3-second time penalty. We will have to wait and see. Pace makes the move on Baz there down at the end of the hairpin. He is starting to close in very, very well as he starts to get into the groove of those tyres. Having a look elsewhere in the field, these three are going to be keeping going at it. Pace picks up a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunate for him for corner cutting as well. Chiv is just trying to pull away on those medium tyres. He's still going to have to box probably in the next couple of laps to run those softs to the end. As we see Pace here, who will be sitting on the back of K-Pax, but I'm going to stay on board here with Rob as he goes round the outside of Skarma. Both have their battery on, both have their DRS on, but Rob makes the move go. And Rob is into P2. So Chiv just coming up on back marker traffic for the moment. I am just going to go on board with Pace and see what he does, as he does make the move on K-Pax down the straight. Very, very, very good run from Pace there. It was only about a lap or two ago. He was about 3 seconds behind the Ferrari driver. Pace now needs to really get a move on to start battling for any significant positions. Michelando is going to go down the inside of the Williams driver into the hairpin. Thank you very much. That's P5 for Michelando. He's had a cracking race. A yellow flag as the Haas is off. I think he spun. He is. He's facing the wrong way. No, he was facing the wrong way. Excuse me. Gio is just going to rejoin here. Hopefully not too much in the way of the Aston Martin driver there. Those tyres are probably absolutely cooked on that Haas driver there. Pace is just starting to pick up his speed a little bit here. Baz and K-Pax still running within a second of each other. Rob has broken the DRS to Skarma, and Skarma's nearly broken it to Luke as well. So Skarma just sits in the DRS of Rob. Rob does not have any DRS. Skarma is absolutely hurling that car towards the Aston Martin. And I tell you what, Chiv has fallen back quite significantly there. His tyres are starting to fall away a little bit. He's gone from being 2.5 seconds in the lead to being within the DRS zone of Rob. He's on 8-lap older medium tyres. Surely he has to put it in for softs in a moment. Davaro finally pits to get rid of those ancient hard tyres to put on the mediums. Gio is also pitting. I think he picked up some damage as well. Baz is the only driver yet to pit, extending pretty significantly on those hard tyres there. Bosch has pulled away from Tesco. Their battle is kind of ended now on the medium tyres. And again, we're kind of falling into the same sort of rhythms a little bit. Luke just sitting on the back of Skarma. But Rob is starting to reel Chiv in, especially through these technical sectors. That's a purple sector too from Rob. He is going to start hurling that car towards the McLaren driver, who surely has to pit either this lap or next lap. I fear Chiv's strat may not come to light in order to see him win this race. But Chiv goes in. So Chiv is in to put the soft tyres on. Rob reclaims the race lead, which he held for only 1 or 2 corners. Skarma runs in P2, holding a 3-second time penalty. Luke on the hard tyres is out of DRS behind him. Chiv now is going to come out behind Michelando, behind Pace, behind K-Pax, behind Baz as well. He has got a lot of work to do. Yes, he's behind Bosch. He might even be behind Tesco. He is. Tesco's going to go around the outside of him there. And Chiv falls to P10. He has got an eon of work to do. He's got to pull 20 seconds, well 26 seconds I think it is. And what is that, 8 laps? So he needs to be quicker than Rob by about 3 seconds a lap. He's already going to make the move on the Mercedes driver here. The Mercedes goes for the cutback, but surely he's got no chance. Look at the soft tyre pull away there from Chiv. Can Chiv recover to a podium? We'll have to see. Lugalis pulls back into the DRS of Skarma, who doesn't have it on Rob there. Rob might look to just pull away here. Having a look, Tesco is there. Bosch is just getting onto the back of Baz there. Might have a move on the straight here, as Baz is surely impressively keeping the car in circuit, I must say. From the Williams driver on what must be 60 to 70% worn hards now. Having a look here, Lugalis is just closing on Skarma in the DRS, but doesn't have enough. Will happily be towed behind. That's a yellow flag. It's Kev. Kev, I think, is off. No, it was Tesco. Sorry, excuse me. Tesco was off there. I think he might have had a half spin or something of that ilk, as Baz finally pits, the last driver to pit. And we will see where he filters out now. Obviously carrying a pretty hefty penalty, so we will see what he looks like at the end. To his benefit, Chiv doesn't have any time penalties, so we might be able to squeeze in, at the very least, to Michelando over the next couple of laps. We will have to wait and see. But our biggest fight right now is Lugalis, who's sitting up on the gearbox of Skarma. Hard tyres starting to come a little bit. Skarma looks like he's recharging as much as he can there. Maybe burned a little bit too much battery. Luke has actually closed really quite a lot on Skarma there. Luke needs to make this pass work if he wants to fight for the lead, because you can see Rob's already pulled 2 seconds on Skarma. Luke is already on the battery. He's trying to get as much overspeed as he can. He really wants to make this move happen. He's still using it. He's going to sit. He's going to pass it before the DRS zone even lights up. And Lucalis makes the pass on Skarma, the V-Carb, for P2. Now, can he keep it there? We will have to wait and see. Skarma's probably still maybe got the better tyres, only slightly. Pace has just nabbed into the DRS zone of Michelando. That was probably his target for this race, given his strategy. He goes very deep there. Michelando may be starting to feel those mediums a little bit. Pace has very slightly fresher tyres. Having a look up the field, Dale is just going to start closing on Mr. CD, also on more favourable tyres, so we'll have to see. Chiv is just closing on Bosch here in P7. We'll have a quick look at the penalties here. So still a couple of penalties floating around. Skarma, Mika and Pash all on 3 seconds. Bosch on 3 seconds as well, which looks like he will keep that over Tesco. Devara with 12 seconds. Baz with 6. Looks like he served his 10 seconds in the pit stop, but came out ahead of Mr. CD, who him, Dale, and Kev all have 6 seconds worth of pens. And Gio with 3 seconds. And that is some interesting lag on my screen there. And Pace has gone from being right in the gearbox of Michelando to being out of his DRS zone. I don't know if that was on my end or if that was on Pace's end, but hopefully you have another lap to make that move. Wixie here, Chiv here, just trying to pick his line. I think Chiv has got a tall order to catch up to Michelando, but we'll have to see. Skarma there was actually very close to Lucalis on the pit straight. I almost missed it. And that's Dale making a move on Mr. CD there. Looking to go around the outside. Mr. CD says, no, thank you. You can get out there. Chiv does make the pass on Bosch on the straight there. Dale switches to the right-hand side. It's a drag race going all the way up to the intersector to this switchback from Dale. Is he going to go around the outside? No, he's going to wait. He's going to wait. Pace picks up another 3-second time penalty. Unfortunate for him. Dale, is he going to surely not up the inside of here? No, he's not. Kev is just trying to sneak back up onto them. But Dale will surely make this move down on the pit straight. He's got loads of battery. He's got fresher tyres. Can Mr. CD defend? We will have to see. Just looking at the field a little bit. Bosch is, yeah, there we go. And Dale does make the pass on Mr. CD. Gives him a little love tap for good measure. And the fresher tyres of the Red Bull driver passes our reserve Ferrari driver, and we will see if Mr. CD can keep up. Going back here to Skarma, who is absolutely sitting on their gearbox of Lucalis, and Skarma's going to move to the left-hand side. He's going to pass the McLaren driver, and he will take the lead back into T1. Good fighting from then. He needs to hope Luke picks up a 3-second time penalty in reality. Oh, and Skarma picks up another one. Skarma picks up another 3-second time penalty there. I just saw him clip the curb there. And his chances of second place are all but gone unless something disastrous happens to our last season's runner-up driver, Lucalis. Pace is, again, just sneaking back into Michelando. Hopefully he doesn't have any connections issue this time. Chiv is scything time out of the Ferrari driver of K-Pax. We will see how he gets on over the next couple of laps. We're having a look up and down the field. Kev is right on the back of Mr. CD there. We might see a move for our debutant driver on our other debutant driver. I'm going to go on the broadcast cam here. Mr. CD rounds the final corner, as does Kev. He's going to sit in the slipstream. Mr. CD's recharging. Kev has his DRS on. Mr. CD has no DRS. Is Kev got enough here to make the move? He goes to the right-hand side and he outbrakes the Ferrari driver into T1. Very, very good move from Mercedes there. Very confident. And it's up to P13 for Kev, which would see him score points on debut. In fact, every driver will score points today as we score down to 15th, which would be delightful for everyone. Chiv there is just sitting at the back of the gearbox of K-Pax. The soft tyres still proving to be very good for him. And K-Pax is fighting it slightly. Chiv doesn't have a lot of battery left, but I tell you what, the drive of the soft tyres is too much for the Ferrari driver, and Chiv will take P6. K-Pax sitting very, 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 very close to his gearbox there, trying not to take him out. K-Pax very well might have another go down the straight here, but the traction of those soft tyres were very impressive on the McLaren. It doesn't look like the Ferrari has enough here. No, not indeed. moving up the field. Lucalis sitting again on the back of Skarma. Again, Rob has pulled a mighty gap here. And Lucalis goes wide on those hard tyres. Probably won't be enough to be able to get DRS here, but we'll have to wait and see. Pace is closing in on Michelando, though. Let's have a look at this as we head up towards the last couple of corners. Pace obviously had that issue a couple of laps ago. He's fallen back. He's recharged his battery. He's reset. He's caught back up to Michelando. Now, can Pace make the pass here on the Aston Martin driver for P4 and then have enough to pull away? We'll have to see. So, Michelando is out of battery. Pace is saving his battery. He's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. It's not going to be enough. He holds off. Pace may decide to take this position. We will have to wait and see. Luke is still sitting on the gearbox of Skarma. I'm not sure if Luke will even make the move on him here. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. Pace again, just sitting. Has a little sneak, has a little peek. Decides against it. Pace has to make this move sooner rather than later, though, if he wants to pull a 3-second gap on the Aston Martin driver. We will have to see what he can do, because he is running out of time. There's a yellow flag. That is a Mercedes driver. I think went wide there. I think that was Kev off the top. No, it was Tesco off the top of my head. Yeah. Tesco went wide there. As Devaro just pulls a little bit of time in the Merc driver, but is obviously carrying a lot of penalties. But as it stands, Devaro will finish P10. Which I think will be a personal best for that driver, if I'm not mistaken. It matches his personal best, which will be good for him. Pace, again, is getting very close. Is still very close. Luke obviously makes the pass on Skarma. Just caught that at the very end there on the penultimate lap. And will take P2, or wants to take P2 at the flag, even if Skarma overtakes him. Then we'll have to see. But look, it's Pash. Pash does make the move. I can't find him on the menu, but he makes the move into T1. Pash now has 2 laps to pull 3 seconds on Michelando. Can he do it? We will have to see. The 2 DRS zones are not going to help him here. Love the sound of the engines in this game. All Mika has to do is sit in his DRS for 1 more lap. If Pace can break it, he might be able to do it. But these are your battles. Skarma is in the DRS of Lucalis as they go on to as they're about to go onto the back straight, and Michelando on the back of Pace. But obviously Pace is carrying an extra 3 seconds time penalty, and Luke has no penalties at all, and Skarma has 6. And Pace goes wide there, like a snap there. Gio is in the pits as Rob crosses the line to take the last lap. We're going to see if Skarma does any sort of move on Luke there. We'll have to wait and see. He's using his battery. He's using his DRS. And he's going to go for it. And Skarma wants it. Skarma makes the pass on the McLaren driver. I think you would need a superhuman lap. And Michelando passes Pace on the line there as well. So, unfortunate for Pace. Wasn't able to pull away from the DRS. They've had a good battle, them so far. But it looks like Pace will be finishing well, actually will be finishing more than P5, because Chiv is in that time zone. I think... Pace makes the move again. I'm looking at the menu there. Pace goes on the inside of Michelando. I'm just trying to work out if Pace is ahead of K-Pax. I think he is. He's going to lose to Chiv, but I think he's ahead of K-Pax. But what matters now is not this. What matters is this man here. Rob Wills, 2-time P0 champion, moved to Aston Martin from VCARB this season, along with Michelando. He will crest the final corner, and Rob Wills from pole will win the first race of the season. Rob Wills wins in Portugal. Well done to the Englishman in the Aston Martin. Skarma takes the flag, but Luke takes the flag behind him and will finish P2. And a long, long way back, 12, 13 seconds behind. Pace will cross the line in P4, but immediately drop to P5 as Michelando takes P4. Chiv then pushes Pace down to P6, where he will stay. We wait for K-Pax to cross the line. In P7, Bosch finishes P8. in the kick. A very good race from him. Tesco and Davaro had a mighty scrap at the very end there. Obviously, Davaro carrying a lot of penalties, so it won't matter. Tesco crosses the line for P9, Davaro in P10, as we see Baz come around the second to last corner here. Baz had an unfortunate first lap, had a spin, comes P11. We see Dale come around there for P12. Ah, okay, Luke, I see. Dale comes through. Kev will cross the line then, and Mr. CD, will he jump Kev? He does not by 7/10. That's it. It's over. The first race of the season, and I have had a bit of lag there. Just going to type a quick message there. There we go. Driver of the day is given to Chiv. He had a mighty old strat there on the two-stop. Tried his best to make it work. But I think he finished, what was it, P5? Yeah, P5 in the end. Did well. Got as many overtakes as he could. There's your podium there. Rob standing at the front there. Lucas in P2 looking for his second title. And Skarma, obviously, rounding set. A very strong weekend from Skarma. As we see the celebrations of the drivers. Good race. A greasy start there. Reminded me of the 2020 Portuguese Grand Prix in real life, where we had that splash of rain at the start. That Carlos Sainz leading in lap 1 it was. Very similar to that. I need to evaluate my driver of the day. There'll be no interviews today because unfortunately I don't have the time. We've run quite late, but I will endeavour to do them in the future because I know people like the interviews. I'm hoping I can actually see the grid. That would be nice. Okay, right. Well, didn't get a chance there. Who do I want my driver of the day to be? I'm going to give it, I think, to Mika Lando. I think Mika drove a very strong race, finished P4, very good position. Kept it clean, kept it tidy, had some good battling, got his strat right. And I think he is very well deserving. But that is it. The first race of the season, a debut win for Pace. Rob with the first feature race win of the season. Some crazy strats, some crazy racing. And some crazy fun. I appreciate you all so much for watching. I will see you all next week for the Hungarian Grand Prix, where we get to do it all over again. I will try to do it on YouTube next time as opposed to Twitch, because I know Twitch has its problems. Obviously, those of you who race will know when I let it know. Those of you who have joined from my own personal channel, then if you look over in the Discord that I've got attached, then you will have a link to the YouTube channel and you can have a look there. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all next Sunday. Thank you all very much.